pupils. This is Teacher Edward. Our subject today is science. I want us to continue with the topic that we started, that is health education. Yes, we were talking about diseases, and we said that diseases are caused by microorganisms like bacteria, viruses, and others. As we started by looking at a disease known as AIDS. Yes, we looked at the meaning of the initials, that is HIV and AIDS, the ways in which the disease is caused or spread, or the ways in which the disease is spread or transmitted. So today, I want us to look at another subtopic, that is the stages of HIV infection. So, as you know, AIDS is a disease, a very dangerous disease, and it has no cure. So we say that it's good to take preventive measures to avoid contracting this particular disease. We're supposed to do a lot of things to avoid the spread of transmission. We said it has no cure. Now, the other thing that you're supposed to know, once the virus gets into your body, we don't say that you have the virus, or we don't say that you have AIDS. Before we say that you have AIDS, the virus goes under several stages, and those are the stages that I want us to look at. The first stage, we call it window stage. We call it window stage or period. So whenever you ask to give out the stages of HIV infection, always start with this one, window stage. So this is the earliest stage, the immediate stage after contracting the virus. And this stage lasts for about 4 to 6 weeks. So it lasts for about 4 to 6 weeks. So it is one of the shortest periods or stages of HIV infection. When in this stage, the infected person looks healthy. Yes, there is not any sign or symptom of HIV virus in the body. The other thing, at this stage, when a person goes for a test, the results will always be negative. So that is why we also say that in this is the most dangerous stage. Window stage or period is the most dangerous, because an infected person can easily transmit or spread the virus without knowing. Yes, because even if they go for a test, the test or the results will always be negative. So those are a few details about this stage. I've said it lasts for about 4 to 6 weeks after infection. So it is known as window stage. So we have the second one. We call it incubation, or it has another name. Asymptomatic stage. So this is the second stage or period. We call it incubation or asymptomatic. So when you look at this, as if this one is the opposite of symptomatic. So in other words, this is a stage whereby there are no visible signs or symptoms. And also the infected person will still be looking healthy. So there will be no changes in his body. He will still look healthy. There will be no any sign or symptom. But contrary or different from window stage, this person, after going for a test, the results would be, if the person is infected, the results would be positive. But remember, we have said for the window stage, if the person is infected, when they go for a test, the results will always be negative. But for this stage, when a person goes for a test, the results, if the person is infected, the results would be positive. This stage, the incubation or the asymptomatic stage, it lasts for 6 to 12 years. It lasts for about 6 to 12 years after infection. So this is the second stage. You see that the person looks healthy. Then there are no visible signs and symptoms. That is why the other name is asymptomatic. So then from there, we move on to the next stage. The next stage after the asymptomatic, definitely it is symptomatic stage or period. This is the symptomatic stage or period. So I have said that the third stage is symptomatic stage. In other words, you can say that it is a sign showing stage. Signs showing stage. So here signs and symptoms are visible. Signs and symptoms are visible. So I'll give you some examples of some of the signs and symptoms that are visible in a person who is suffering from HIV and AIDS. But I have said that these signs are only visible after that person is in the third stage. In the first and the second stage, you don't have those signs and symptoms. But when it comes to the third stage, when you start seeing those signs and symptoms, it means that the person is in this stage, the symptomatic stage, or the sign showing stage. So after I have given out the fourth stage, I'll give you some of those signs of HIV and AIDS. So the fourth stage, which is the last one, it's called full-blown AIDS. Full-blown AIDS. So after the symptomatic stage or the sign showing stage, the fourth stage is the full-blown AIDS. Yes, this is the fourth and the last stage. This is where your immune system, your defense system is completely destroyed. I wonder what kind of virus is this? The only intention that it has is to get into your body and to destroy your immune system, nothing else. When it gets into your body, it attacks the immune system and ensures that the immune system is completely destroyed. That means that if your immune system is completely destroyed, you don't have any other protection in your body. You can be easily killed by a minor disease. Yes, and those diseases that attack you because your immune system is weak or is completely destroyed, they are known as opportunistic diseases. And those opportunistic diseases are the ones that kills a person. So this is the last stage, the full-blown AIDS, and we have said that in this stage, the body or the immune system of your body is completely destroyed. But if somebody does some measures or follows the doctor's guidelines, before getting into this stage, they can take many years. So that's why people are always advised to go for a test. After that, they follow the doctor's recommendations. Because once you get into this stage, there's very little that can be done because your immune system is completely destroyed. Your white blood cells are completely destroyed. They are completely overwhelmed by the virus, the HIV virus. So from there, I want us to go back to the third stage. We have said that this stage, known as symptomatic stage or the sign showing stage, is a stage where signs of HIV and AIDS are visible. So what are some of these signs and symptoms of HIV, AIDS? And we always say that once you see somebody with some of those signs, don't start saying that they have AIDS. They have the HIV and AIDS. That is not good. The only thing that can help us to know whether a person has the virus, apart from those signs, the best thing is to go for a test. These are just bad signs. So whenever you see a person with those signs, don't just say that they have AIDS. Let them go for a test to confirm that they might be suffering from another disease or other problems. We have looked at the stages of HIV/AIDS, and we have said that the first one is known as window stage or period. Yes, we have said that that is a stage that lasts for about 4 to 6 weeks. And we have said that in that stage, or if that is the most dangerous stage, because if a person goes for a test, the test will always be negative, regardless of whether they are infected or not. And also, there are no visible signs and symptoms. The second stage that we have talked about is known as incubation or asymptomatic. We have said that in that stage, there are no visible signs and symptoms. Also, when a person goes for a test, if they are infected, they'll test negative. They'll test positive. Then the third stage is the symptomatic. The third stage is known as symptomatic stage. In that stage, you have said that there are some signs of HIV and AIDS that are visible. And once these signs start appearing, that is when we say that the person has AIDS or has developed AIDS. So some of those signs and symptoms are loss of body weight. Yes, I know that we lose body weight, but when you see a person losing his body weight within a short period of time, that means that they have a problem. They have a health problem. So they are supposed to go for a test or to visit a doctor. So loss of body weight within a short period is one of the signs of HIV and AIDS. Another one is frequent emptying of bowels. Frequent emptying of bowels. Kunya. Yes. In other words, we say diarrheaing. Yes. Others say that they have a running stomach. A frequent running stomach, frequent diarrheaing, and sometimes violent diarrheaing. So that frequent emptying of bowels is another indication or another sign and symptom of a person who is suffering from HIV and AIDS. Another one is a fever that lasts for a long time. Yes, you know that fever is that high temperature. Yes, so if you see a person who has that, maybe it's a sign of having HIV and AIDS. Another one, persistent cough. Persistent cough. Yes, they develop a cough, a persistent one. Yes, it lasts for a long period of time. Yes, that is another sign and symptom of AIDS. Then another one is skin diseases. Yes, they develop skin diseases such as rashes and also sores. Skin diseases such as rashes and sores. Yes, like the ones that I'm showing you. Good. Then we have mouth sores. Mouth sores. Sometimes you call them mouth ulcers. It's like the ones that you're seeing on your screen. Yes, this is another sign of HIV and AIDS. It's another sign and symptom of AIDS. Mouth ulcers or mouth sores. So, a person who is suffering from AIDS can also develop these mouth sores. That is another sign. Another one is other diseases. In other words, we call them opportunistic diseases. During this time, your immune system is very weak, and other diseases that take that opportunity to attack you. We call them opportunistic diseases. If you are asked to name them, mostly there are two common opportunistic diseases, like tuberculosis, that is TB, and you have pneumonia. Tuberculosis and pneumonia are the most common opportunistic diseases. And these diseases are the ones that can easily cause death. Yes, they are known as opportunistic diseases. Those are some of the signs and symptoms of malaria. After writing them down, yes, look at them. You can also add others, a few. If you come across one or two, add them. Yes, we have said that we have the first one, loss of body weight within a short period of time. Another one, we have frequent emptying of bowels. Yes, that is, in other words, you can write down diarrhea or running stomach. Then another one is a fever that lasts for a long period of time. Yes, that is high temperature. Yes. Then we have persistent cough. Another one, we have said skin diseases such as rashes and sores. Then we have mouth sores. We have also said that they are known as mouth ulcers. Then we have the other diseases. Another sign is attack by other diseases. We have said those diseases are known as opportunistic diseases. Yes, like tuberculosis, that is TB, and pneumonia. So those are some of the signs and symptoms of AIDS. And I have said that once they develop, we say that you have developed AIDS. So once these signs and symptoms start appearing, we say that your body has developed AIDS. So after looking at that, there's a caution that I gave earlier. I said that a person who has this or some of these signs and symptoms can only be confirmed to be having AIDS by a medical expert. So your eyes should not be very judgmental. So these are just but signs and symptoms. We develop them, but does not mean that we have AIDS. But once a person develops this, if they have never gone for a test, they're supposed to go, yes, to confirm whether they are positive or negative. So it is very good to be very keen on that. Before I wind up, I want to remind you some of the things that we have talked about AIDS. We have said that AIDS is caused by a virus, and that virus is known as HIV. Then we have said that it is spread through several ways, like sexual intercourse, blood transfusion, breast milk, open wounds, and sharing skin piercing and cutting tools. Yes. Then we have talked about the stages. We have said that we have 4 stages of HIV/AIDS. We have the window period. We have the incubation or the asymptomatic stage. The third one, we have the symptomatic stage or the sign showing stage. Then the last one is full-blown AIDS. Then after that, it's good to remember that we have some signs and symptoms. Make sure you go through the list that I have given out and the other signs and symptoms that you add. To conclude, I want to give you a few questions. Yes, you can send your answers through our WhatsApp number on your screen. I have received some answers from my good pupils, and I want you to be one of those pupils. So one of the questions, which system of the body is attacked by the HIV virus? Which system of the body is attacked by the HIV virus? Number 2, name the 4 stages of HIV/AIDS. Name the 4 stages of HIV/AIDS. And when you are naming those stages, if a stage has more than one name, kindly give out the 2 or the names. Yes, name the 4 stages of HIV/AIDS. Question 3, name 5 signs and symptoms of AIDS. Name 5 symptoms of Name 5 signs and symptoms of AIDS. The last question. Which is the most dangerous stage of HIV/AIDS? Which is the most dangerous stage of HIV/AIDS? Give the reason to your answer. Give the reason to your answer. So that is all that I have for today. Until next time, goodbye.